I'm here with Kurt Busch, and just we're talking books with a few drivers, and I want to ask you, what are some of the books that you've read that you haven't had an impact on you, and maybe the most recent book you've read. So if you can tell me, what kind of stuff you like to read, and start out that.
Well, you put me on the spot. Reading comprehension was like my lowest skill when I was going through middle school and high school. Even into college, it seemed like I had to read things 2-3 times to be able to memorize it or have it in my brain. But I've always loved nonfiction, factional stories that show people's lives on their upbringing, the challenges they went through. Civil War books are always exciting for me. And just listening to history through the books,
yeah,
and reading that way. And in sports too. There's a lot of fun to read about different sports figures who've come up through the ranks.
So is there any particular books, maybe history books that you've read that really stand out?
One book that was given to me by Humpy Wheeler. He's the greatest promoter, I think, of our era in NASCAR. He worked in Charlotte and was raised in the South there. He gave me a book called Born Fighting. Okay. And it's a book about the Civil War, but also NASCAR at the same time, on how the Irish and the Scots settled in North Carolina, the Tennessee Hills, even South Carolina, in that mix of moonshiners from past wars, and then they decided to go racing. and yet they knew all along that they had that heritage in them of drinking and fighting. And then they got into cars. And that was a great perspective of how NASCAR started.
Wow, that's really interesting. Now, what about the last book you read? What's you recall that?
Man, I think it was Coach Gibbs's book.
Okay.
He wrote a book on how he uses faith in God to help guide him through tough situations. And I like Coach Gibbs because he's in our sport, but he also was in the NFL,
yeah,
at the top levels, winning Super Bowls and coaching a lot of different players from a lot of different backgrounds.
Right.
And so the book, I can't remember the title of it, but Coach Gibbs gave it to me. He says, you should probably read this.
So helpful for you, in some of the stuff that you've gone through and everything, to have something like that? Or
it is, and that's how I can relate my reading, is when I see a person or a person in sports, or just a factional story that helps me understand what they've been through.
Okay, great. Well, appreciate it, and good luck. You're my pick to win this weekend. So.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'll take that.